I will be reading now The Secret of Light and illustrating it with pictures of photons of light. I hope you will enjoy this. This is the first portion of the book The Secret of Light by Walter Russell. Jesus said, "God is light," and no man of that day knew what he meant. The day is here when all men must know what is meant when Jesus said, "God is light." For within the secret of light is vast knowledge, yet unrevealed to men. Light is all that is. It is what we have to deal with, but we do not yet know what it is. The purpose of this message is to tell you what it is. Nor do we know what energy, electricity, magnetism, gravitation, and radiation are. Nor do we know the purpose of the inert gases and what they are. Nor do we know the structure of the elemental atoms, nor the gyroscopic principle which determines that structure. Nor are we aware of the fact that this is a two-way continuous universe of balance in all effects of motion, and not a one-way discontinuous universe. Nor have we even yet heard of or suspected the most important of all principles in physics, the avoidance principle, and the mirrors and lenses of space which are the cause of illusion in all moving things. Nor do we even consider the entire material electric universe to be the illusion which it is, there being no reality to it whatsoever. Nor have we the slightest inkling of the cause of curvature of space, nor the avoidance of that curvature in planes of zero curvature at wave-filled boundaries. No one knows how it is that crystals get their various shapes. It will amaze the world to know that these shapes of crystals are determined in space by the shapes of the wave fields which bound the various elemental structures. Nor have we the slightest conception of what constitutes the life principle, nor the principle of growth, nor the simultaneous unfoldment-refoldment principle, which repeats all patterns in nature sequentially and records and voids them as they are repeated. Nor are we aware of the recording principle by means of which the Creator carries forth the sum totals of every sequential cycle in his unfolding, refolding universe, unto the very end of its manifestations upon one planet and its beginnings on a new one. Within the secret of light is the answer to all of the heretofore unanswered questions, and many more, which the ages have not solved. The revelation of the nature of light will be the inheritance of man in this coming new age of greater comprehension. Its unfoldment will prove the existence of God by methods and standards acceptable to science and religion alike. It will lay a spiritual foundation under the present material one of science. The two greatest elements in civilization, religion and science, will thus find unity in marriage of the two. Likewise, human relationships will become more balanced because of greater knowledge of universal law, which lies behind all of the processes which light uses to interweave the pattern forms of this electric wave universe. There is no department of life which will not be vitally affected by this new knowledge of the nature of light, from the university to the laboratory, from government to industry, and from nation to nation. I therefore give it to you with all of its clarity, as I myself have become aware of it from behind the scenes of this cosmic cinema of light illusion, which is our universe. Walter Russell. Chapter 1. The Eternal Question. Who am I? What am I? Why am I? Whither am I bound? What is my relationship to the universe, to man, and to God? What is truth? How am I to know truth? Whence cometh my power? What is the source of my power? How am I to find balance in my dealings with my fellow man? How am I to know the balance in our interchange, which will enrich both him and me? Countless are the religious teachings, and many are the commandments to goodness, but goodness is still veiled from my eyes, like a thick mist which hides thy light, which vainly seek. I stumble in darkness, unbalanced I fall. O thou unseen one, tear from my eyes the blinding veil, which hides the path of thy light, that I may find my way to thee. That is the cry of the ages. That is the unanswered question which is arising from the heart of the awakening generation. Civilization progresses in cycles. New comprehension periodically transforms mankind into higher beings. A new cycle of 3,000 years' duration is now in its birth throes. God's omnipotence, omnipotence, and omnipresence are centered in the consciousness of every man. Man requires many millennia to begin to be aware of that. Each cycle of man brings him nearer to his awareness of his oneness with the light of his self-source. Man lives in a bewildering, complex world of effect, of which he knows not the cause. Because of its seeming infinite multiplicity and complexity, he fails to vision the simple underlying principle of balance in all things. He therefore complexes truth until its many angles, sides, and facets have lost balance with each other and with him. Truth is simple. Balance is simple. Rhythmic, balanced interchange in natural phenomena and in human relations is the consummate art of God's universe of light. It is also the law. In this one fundamental universal law lies the balanced continuity of all creative expression in God's electric wave universe of two conditioned lights in seeming motion, which record God's one whole ideal of creation into countless seemingly separate parts of that whole ideal. The voice within. The great unanswered question of man has a simple answer. The silent voice within every man is ceaselessly whispering it to his awakening consciousness. Every desire written upon the heart of man is carried to the source by the sensations of his electrically conditioned body, and the answer will come, but few there are who hear. Many are the ages of preparation for worthiness to hear it, for man's consciousness is insulated from his source by the sensations of his electrically conditioned body, which he wrongly thinks of as being his mind and his personal self. What he calls his objective human mind is but the seat of electric sensations of his body. What he mistakes for thinking is but an electric awareness of things sensed and recorded within the cells of his brain for repetitive usage through what is termed memories. Memories have no more relation to knowledge of universal mind, which is in man, than Victrola records are related to the source of their recordings. What he thinks of as his living body is but an electrically motivated machine, which simulates life through motions extended to it from its centering self-soul, which alone lives and wills the body to move. What he calls his subjective mind is his consciousness, his spiritual storehouse of all knowledge, all power, and all presence. That consciousness is his self, his eternal self, through which his omnipotence, omnipresence, and omnipotence are expressed as he slowly becomes aware of their presence within him. The electrically oscillating nerve wires which operate his bodily mechanism act almost entirely through automatic reflexes and instinctive control, and to very little extent through mental decisions. Each cell and organ of his body has an electric awareness of its purpose, and each fulfills that purpose without any mental action whatsoever upon the part of the intelligence which occupies that body. The heartbeat, for example, is purely automatic. The white corpuscles of the blood rush to repair an injury to the body as automatically as a bell rings when a button is pushed. In the body and its electric recording brain, man thinks that he thinks and lives, loves, and dies. He thinks himself conscious while awake and unconscious while sleeping, unaware that in all nature there is no such condition as unconsciousness when sensation ceases in sleep. Man does not say that his tooth is unconscious when it is put to sleep by short-circuiting the electric awareness of his tooth. He knows that his tooth cannot be conscious, but then he does not know that his body cannot be conscious. Nor does he know that consciousness never sleeps, never changes, for consciousness in man is his immortality. It is the light which he is unknowingly seeking, but assumes that the sensation of his brain is his thinking. Man is still new. He is barely out of the dark of his jungle. For the 1,000,000 or more years of his unfolding, he has relied upon sensation for his actions and the evidence of his senses for his knowing. He has been aware of the spirit in him only a very few thousands of years. In this beginning of his new awareness, he is confused, knowing not which is mind in him, which is consciousness in him, and which is sensation. He has not yet learned that bodies are but self-created mechanisms, which manifest their centering self, and that self manifests God as one with it. A little part of the wheel touches the ground, feels it, then leaves it to disappear from reach of the sensations which connect rim, spokes, and ground. But then it reappears. When that happens to man, we say, he was born, lived, and died. When it happens to the apple, the flame, or the tree, we say, the apple was eaten, the flame has gone out, and the tree has decayed. We say that because only a small part of the cycle of any ideal comes within the range of our senses. The larger part of the cycle is beyond our range of perception, just as the larger part of the wheel is beyond the sense perception of the ground. We do not yet know that the invisible part of the cycle of all idea is as continuous as the wheel is continuous. The cycle of the apple is light reaching from the sun and earth to that positive half of the apple cycle which we hold in our hand. The negative half of the cycle is light returning to sun and earth for repetition as another manifestation of the eternal ideal of the apple. The same is true of the flame, the tree, or any other part of the one whole idea of creation. The flame goes out to our sensing, but it still is. Likewise the tree, the forest, mountain, planet, and nebula of the far heavens appear, disappear, and as surely reappear. Likewise man appears to disappear and reappear again and again in countless cycles to express eternal life of the spirit in eternal repetitions of that part of the man cycle which the body of man can sense. Man never dies. He is as continuous as eternity is continuous. Jesus rightly said that man shall not see death, for there is no death, to see or to know. Likewise, the body of man does not live, and having never lived, it cannot die. The spirit alone lives, the body but manifests the spirit. That which we think of as life in the spirit of man manifests itself by willing the body to act. Actions thus made by the body under the command of its centering soul have no motivative power or intelligence in themselves. They are but machines motivated by an omnipotent and omnipotent intelligence extended to them. These things you do not know, for man is in his infancy. He is but beginning to know the light. And thus I end the first installment of reading The Secret of Light by Walter Russell. The next portion will be forthcoming. I hope you have enjoyed the pictures of light, photons of light, I have used to illustrate this book. This is the Dove Lady, over and out for now. Bye-bye.